From Hilltop to the kingdom to Alexandria, everyone's wary of the peace they have with the saviors. Some, like Richard over at the kingdom, think it's time to fight, while others, like Spencer, think they can negotiate because, yeah, Negan is known for his reasonableness. It's the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 8. Hearts still beating. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of the big mid-season finale for The Walking Dead. So, of course, there are spoilers ahead. You have been warned. Alright, so we are pretty much kind of wrapping up. Like I said, it's the mid-season finale, and we've been sort of wrapping up the big storyline in the sense of our real introduction to the Saviors and living in a post-Negan world. All of this season, we've been sort of dealing with the effects of Negan and the Saviors on everyone. Our introduction to the kingdom and how they're working with Ezekiel. We've already seen their effects that they've had on the hilltop, and of course, them coming into Alexandria and how that has started to sort of fracture the community. So with this episode, we're really kind of summing up those experiences to bring everyone to a big stand against the Saviors. And of course, everyone's got to sort of make their own little journey to do it, and not everybody is there yet, but certainly by the end, all of our main players are all together and on the same side. So let's sort of break it down sort of piece by piece. I mean, we'll start off with the hilltop and Maggie and doing her little morning ritual and seeing Glenn and being on top and dealing with Gregory, and that was an awesome scene. Really starts to establish, I think, how the town is backing up Maggie, how they are really seeing Maggie as this new savior. After the big rescue from the midnight attack the Saviors had done, and her ability to step out, tell everybody this is what we got to do, and even, get again in the tractor and take out the car that's making all the noise. She is hands-on. She is a fighter. Why? She's been through a hell of a lot, and she just lost her husband. So she, of course, is ready to fight. But it doesn't go to her head. And I think that's really one of the other great moments. For Maggie, for her point in Hilltop, this is really just her taking on the role that is naturally there. This is her natural leadership. The town sees her, again, stepping into the crowd, but not trying to take credit. Even with Gregory, when Gregory is, sort of threatening her at the beginning, like, hey, don't let this go to your head. She's not. She's just like, hey, I don't think you should worry about it, because it looks like you're worried about it. And you should be, just in a moment really shuts him down. Even just grabbing the apple, are you going to eat that? Really, it's setting her position. But again, it's the town that's backing her up. It's the other guy that was on the wall that was saying, hey, she's pregnant. It's the other townspeople that are giving apple pies and such to Sasha to bring in to Maggie. There is a sense of appreciation. And why also Maggie is talking to them. I think she's actually concerned about their natural needs, saying, oh, if Jesus goes back out, we need pencils for the kids, and we need these things. This is really her next step, again, taking over Hilltop. Gregory's days are definitely numbered. But we are seeing here, again, everyone else setting up their opposition to the Saviors. We have Sasha trying to protect Maggie, of course, because Maggie's ready to go out there and do it, but Sasha wants to go after Negan. Enid also wants to go after Negan. And I love that little dialogue between them too, where she is saying, hey, what if you had help? What if there was backup? Now, Sasha is just thinking about maybe Enid jumping in there or something like that. Enid's got a little secret, and I'm kind of glad that she doesn't mention it about Carl, that Carl has already headed off to the sanctuary to try and take Negan out. So Enid's kind of holding her cards too, a little close to the vest. But each of them, again, these are all movements towards people are tired of the Saviors. People are concerned about what the future is going to bring, and obviously Negan has affected everybody strongly. There is that need for revenge, but there is a need for caution too, and that's really what Sasha is pointing out in those early scenes with Enid. And then we have the kingdom, or in this episode, really, we have Carol's house, where all of these scenes sort of take place, which is very nice, very homey. Carol's cleaned it up. It looks very beautiful in there. It's, nice, comfy. But here we're really dealing with her and Morgan talking with Richard and Richard's concerns about the Saviors, and knowing that the peace that they have is very temporary. He has lost people himself even before he came to the kingdom. But now seeing the Saviors, knowing who they are, and I think with a very realistic point of it's not going to last. Either someone's going to say something, or something's going to be short, or they will just randomly decide, hey, we've had enough. And go after the kingdom. So I think Richard's got a very logical mindset and really seeing things rather clearly. But Carol and Morgan, both in their own ways, they're not about killing. I mean, and in some ways it's really those personal choices. It's recognizing the own kind of monsters and beasts inside them and trying to make the choice to keep them down. For Carol, she doesn't want to kill anymore. She knows if she is around people, she's going to be worried about them. She's going to have to protect them, and therefore she is going to have to kill. For Morgan, he's just really more of his philosophical approach on the way of dealing things. Though he has seen the truth in Carol's statement, his choice of not having to kill when he had to go ahead and shoot that one Savior. Why? Because he was going to kill Carol. And at that point, she was really correct. If you love somebody in this world, you were most likely going to have to kill. But this is, again, really bringing up all of those points. And also the idea of, even though Richard kind of leaves in a sulk and being sort of shut down, and I think that's what he was doing in his own little hideaway there, which was a great little hidden cabin or RV as it was. And with him sort of breaking down, he was approaching Morgan and Carol in a sense to try and find people that will back him up, that will talk to Ezekiel, that will make the move that he sees so clearly ahead of him. And getting kind of shut down by Morgan and Carol, I think, was heartbreaking for him. It kind of like took the wind out of him, and that was his moment of collapse, of kind of realizing, I'm going to be alone. But he doesn't really know what he's dealing with. And in fact, I love that moment when he looks at Carol. He's like, violence and fighting may not be something that you're accustomed to. And I thought it was great that Morgan was very straight and immediately just saying, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. She's the most capable fighter in this room. Probably the most capable fighter in the kingdom, to be perfectly honest. And I thought that was a lovely, just perfect little moment. But because of that, obviously, if the kingdom gets attacked, these are people that will be there. They're going to say that they're not going to fight. They're going to try and, as Morgan was saying, preserve the peace as much as possible. But when it comes down to it, both of them are going to be there when the fighting starts. And in Alexandria, we're going to look at Rosita and Spencer. Now, Rosita, of course, just waiting for her moment to kill Negan. She got the bullet that Eugene made for her last week, and now she is just, again, waiting for that moment, waiting for that opportunity to come up. Now, waiting for that, she does have that wonderful little conversation with Father Gabriel, and I've got to give it up to Father Gabriel. When he first appeared, he was a very sketchy character. He made a lot of bad choices. But he has been stepping up to the end of last season, definitely through this season. And I loved the whole scene between the two of them. One, when Rosita says that he has to die, that Negan has to die, Gabriel does not argue with her. Yes, I agree with you. But why do you have to die? Because if you're going to try and take him out, you're going to be the next person to target. If you kill him, they're definitely going to kill you. If you try to kill him and miss, then they're probably definitely going to kill you. So I liked Gabriel's really approach towards asking these questions, really pointing out that we need you, that we should do this. You're right, Negan needs to die, but we need to take our time. We need to wait for the moment to strike. We need to have an opportunity, and we need to do it all together. But really asking those questions, and not only just posing the questions to her, but then letting her decide. Just saying, we need you, you're important, wait, and then leaves. I thought that was just a beautifully written and beautifully shot scene because it leaves her alone for that moment to make the choice. He's not preaching at her, he's not telling her and forcing her to make a particular choice. He is offering the opportunities a different viewpoint and then giving her the time to choose for herself. And I even thought that scene later on with Spencer was kind of maybe a little positive end towards that. You know, they have their little flirty moment. They had their short little tryst, short-term tryst. But even Spencer saying afterwards, hey, can we have dinner tonight? Even just as friends, I'm not expecting anything. And Rosita's kind of response off that. I thought it was a nice moment for Rosita to see, hey, there are options. Death isn't the only alternative. There can be a potential future. There can be love, relationship, hope, family. All of those things are possible. At least at that moment, they all seem possible because you are dealing with Spencer, who is, yes, he hates Rick. We saw that the conversation with Father Gabriel beforehand. He is still holding on to that. And it makes sense, of course. His whole family has died since Rick has shown up. So it's natural that he has sort of a bit of animosity towards him. But I thought, again, it was one of those sequences where he was kind of encouraged in place. One, he has that mindset of trying to be the political approach. But when he returns and he brings the stuff to the Saviors respect him going out and bringing things back. And that sign of respect, I think, was the encouragement that, hey, maybe I'm doing the right thing. I have a place that I can find with these. They respect me for bringing stuff in, for doing this. So going home and cleaning up and going off to see Negan. By the way, nice time-lapse moment there of seeing his giant messy house and then a quick fade into it being cleaned and then up to him walking out all cleaned up and shaven and everything. And I thought that was a nice little shot. Very subtle, very simple, very straightforward, but nicely done. But decides, of course, let's bring Negan a gift and have a conversation. Because, of course, like I said in the opening, Negan is known for his reasonableness. And in a way, you also can't blame Spencer for trying. This is his way. His miscalculation, of course, is because Negan respects strength. We have Carl tried to kill him, kills a couple of his guys, he hangs on to Carl. Daryl punches him in the face. He likes that. He holds on to him. Even Olivia slapping him when he said, hey, let's have a little roll in the hay. He respects that. Negan is someone that respects strength. And he has said, it's much more fun, it's much more of a challenge to break a strong person to come down and kneel for him. And that's that little final bit of conversation that he has with Spencer is, you're talking about Rick, but Rick hates my guts. And yet, he is out there getting stuff for me. Not only is he a strong person, which he has respect for, but he is swallowing his pride and doing what Negan wants. That is where respect, and that was really Spencer's main miscalculation, is he thought that Negan was someone that he can negotiate with. And Negan is not that person. Negan sees what you bring to the table and judges you off of that, doesn't care about what it is that you have to say. And of course, that does lead to that final end of Spencer. The whole Monroe family is gone now. Oh well. Post-Alexandria time for them. But that does become the final scene for Rosita. I don't think that she was planning to kill him. I think that conversation that Spencer was having of kind of stabbing Rick in the back, that brought everyone up to see what was going on. What is it that Spencer is trying to do? And I think most of them had an understanding of the hole that he was digging himself in. But once he goes, I think that just pushed Rosita over the edge. I don't think she was planning on it. I think she might have decided to take Gabriel's advice and just wait and for the right time. But that's why you don't walk around armed. I mean, first of all, you are surrounded by saviors. You shouldn't be carrying a gun around anyway. That's just, you could get caught. That could create problems as it is. Second, if you are going to shoot, damn, hit your target. You're right there. How the hell did you hit Lucille instead of Negan? But the real cost out of that, yes, it throws everybody up, and I love that people are stepping forward. Tara's willing to sacrifice. Rosita's obviously willing to give herself. That was the one shot that she had. She messed up. She was willing to lay her life down for that. But that's not how Negan is. And again, this is the miscalculation that people make. When you do something, you don't suffer. Other people suffer. So yes, we lost Olivia out of it, but really it's the loss of Eugene and the whole bullet making thing. One, I was quite impressed that Negan was able to recognize immediately that that was a homemade casing. How? Kind of impressive that he could do that. One, why would you even think about it? Why wouldn't you think that this is just they were out on a run and she got a gun? So I thought that was kind of stretching that moment. But that's the cost of that mistake. It's not that you lose your life or even Olivia loses life. It's that Eugene's plan gets discovered. And now the one resource that you potentially had there of making your own bullets, assuming that you can get weaponry, is now gone. And that's the long-term consequence that's going to happen out of Rosita's error there. And of course, finally, we have Rick's primary journey to understanding and accepting kind of where everybody else is. Certainly the rest of his family is already at. And that was a great sequence. I love that. Honestly, I have to say, from a booby trap standpoint, what they ran into with the walker-filled moat, and the only boat there has holes in it, and maybe you get to the other boat, maybe you don't. I mean, just from a design standpoint, that is awesome. If you're going to set up a booby trap like that, and then having a walker in the other boat, yes, that was great. But a wonderful scene, definitely scary. Glad that Aaron got out of it. Walkers underwater. Very frightening. I was sure that he was going to be bitten, but we love Aaron. Aaron was great. I would have been really bummed if this was going to be his end. And I think that they had a great scene between him and Rick. You know, they've really got that good connection. And that Aaron was the one that really understands where Rick was coming from. His whole speech about heart still beating, where of course the episode title came from, is we do this so that people live. And whatever happens to us, however people look at us, that is secondary. So it was great that, you know, from Rick's standpoint, is he has somebody that really understands where it is that he is coming from. But certainly once they get back, they run into just how empty that pursuit is. Yes, you can find stuff. And they got a good supply. It looks like they got some empty guns. Which again, God, I wish you would just hidden those somewhere. And a few other supplies and so on. But once they get back and realize just how empty the Saviors are, while they may have shown Spencer some respect for bringing stuff in, certainly they're not showing Rick, and that's probably from design. Got to keep Rick kind of down. But the whole beating that Aaron gets because they find that sign that they discovered in the houseboat about you won but you lose and you. Again, it's just showing the dark side of the Saviors. The fact that no matter what you bring, it's not going to be enough. No matter what you do, they can turn and make a statement or make an interpretation off of anything, and it can be your ass. So that after that beating, when Rick comes up through the streets and runs into Negan, who of course first thing he says is, "Thank me for this." And you got Rick's walking up. He's just on the ground. Spencer's gutted in the street. Aaron just got his ass beat to him. And Negan is asking him to say thank you. Yes, he doesn't know what had happened with Carl and everything. There was a quick little pickup of information. But after all that, even getting that information, that really sets the tone for Rick. When he is just like, okay, just get your stuff and get out of here. And while you end up finding him in that last scene when Michonne finally comes back, in the jail. In a way, it's kind of appropriate. He's in his own jail, just staring down at that sign. You win, but you lose. And of course, the hatchet that Negan made him almost chop off Carl's arm with. Just sitting those, weighing those, and really getting that final clear picture. Even from what Negan said, look, now you've got dead people around. You got one left to feed. But after today, you are still in the hole. You still have stuff that you need to bring with me. That is the final realization that Rick needed to know, is that this is never going to end. It's always going to be more, and at any moment, people could die, even if he's trying his best, even if he is delivering. Because of a whim, people could still lose their lives, and therefore, this perpetual moment cannot maintain. And that's what really comes to him. Beautifully done, I think, by Michonne's final speech. I mean, Michonne's been very straight with all of this. Her journey in this really just to find the Saviors, finding their place, realizing how many there are there, and yes, taking out that one girl. I'm pretty sure she's dead. We didn't see it happen, but we know she's done. And I think that girl was willing to go. She had realized how this journey was going to end, and just at that moment being honest and straightforward. You don't know the saviors, this is what you should do. But now Michonne does. She understands, she accepts, but still knows that they have to fight. But again, they are better doing it together. Yes, it is her choice, but she wants it to be our choice. She wants it to be Rick's and hers. Everybody together. And that is the only way they're going to win. And Daryl's escape, beautiful, nice, love it. Very straightforward with all of that. Loved his movement, loved his quiet. He was cautious, careful. Loved him being trapped short term in Dwight's room right there. Because Dwight does all the carvings. That's what you recognized immediately on the table there. And kind of gave a perfect little turnaround. Dwight's been taking stuff from Daryl, so now Daryl gets to take his clothes and his hat and mess up his board and stuff, eat his food. I thought that was really smart too. While he's trapped in there, eating, preparing. Daryl's a very smart man. And then that quick escape out of there. Brief encounter with Big Fat Joey. Sorry, Joey, this was the end for you. But that also kind of gave that great line for Daryl there, as Joey is saying, hey, I'm just doing what you can to get by. No, you're not. You're not doing what you can to get by. You're doing what you can to get it all. And that was really Daryl's big shot at this. But it gives him the opportunity. First runs into Jesus, who just pops out of nowhere. Was it Jesus that slipped him the note? Was it someone else? I don't know. I'm guessing Jesus at this point, but hard to guess. But this does give the opportunity for Daryl to get Rick's python back. Nice. And for Jesus to grab one of the Savior's radios. So now they're going to have a little bit of insight. They're going to be able to hear some things. How much range is in that? How far away that they have to be? Don't know yet. But still, nice bit of intelligence gathering there. A couple of small things. One, the best line in the entire episode. When the Savior girl asks Eugene, do you like to watch? And Eugene just answers, yes. That was perfect, because of course Eugene has been known to sneak his peek at other people doing their stuff. But I thought that was just it was just perfect, and that was like his natural response. Yes, and then but what I mean, just the quick cover up was awesome. But that just one little moment was great. And in fact, we've got some real nice, real quick evolution of Eugene when he stepped forward and admitted that it was him that made the shell to Negan. That was awesome, because Eugene is not known for his bravery. He has stepped up in past few episodes. He has, moved into the stronger survivor mode. But that willingness for someone who was always hidden behind the strength of others to step forward and admit things and take the risk, whether he was killed there or not, or taken, which is worse, being killed or taken by Negan and the Saviors, I don't know. Is scary, but I thought that was really nice. It was a great Eugene moment, both of those. One, comedy aspect, and two, from a personal evolution stand-up point. I thought both of those were really great. And the other thing, especially about the last scene with everybody up at HIlltop, I'm actually bringing a point, not something that we saw, but something we didn't see, and that was Daryl's arrival at HIlltop. I really wanted to see that, because in my mind, Maggie does not blame Daryl for what happened to Glenn. I think Daryl reacted out of losing one of their own, and Glenn paid the price. But I don't think that Maggie blames Glenn. But that is my own personal feeling. She did seem to smile when Jesus and Daryl popped out and looked back, was like, hey, yeah, there they are. Look, Rick, we're all together. She seemed happy about that. But we saw when Rick and the gang arrived, and the big hug that Rick got and the big hug that Maggie was giving to everybody else, we didn't see her reaction when Daryl arrived at HIlltop. And I would have loved to have seen that. Maybe that's something that in the second half we're going to deal and have a bit more of those moments or explanation. But I just would have loved to have seen how Maggie greeted Daryl after coming back after everything that happened. And lastly, we've got Mystery Boot Man. Whoever was watching Rick and Aaron there at the houseboat followed them back to Alexandria. You guys saw that. You stayed through the credits and watched that scene? If not, you should go check that out. But anyway, just a real quick scene. Whoever this is, we don't know. That's something that we will probably be discovering in the second half of the season. Friend or foe, can't know that either. My guess, though, this is the person who left that note, is you have won, but you have still lost. Is he talking about the Saviors? Is he talking about himself? Do we have someone new, a new danger they're going to encounter? Or is this going to be an unexpected ally? That we're going to have to, again, wait and see. So I think that's going to wrap things up for this first half season of The Walking Dead. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Definitely started off on a very intense note. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, but at this point, we at least have everybody back together, back on the same page, and ready to fight back against the Saviors. It's going to be really exciting. And we will find all that out when Walking Dead comes back, and that's going to be on February 12th. So, just about 2 months, and then we get back to the action and to see how this all starts to play out. Now, for us, we've got our own little break for the holidays, and we won't be back till next year. And we're going to start off on the 10th of January. We'll have the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then the 29th of January is Black Sails on Starz Network. And then February 8th, we have Legion, the new show with Dan Stevens on FX. That looks amazing, and we get Marvel Mutants on television. Oh, so exciting. Also, I don't want to forget to tell you guys, this really awesome poster that I've had up here most of this season is by CEEDdesigns. It's an Etsy site. I will throw a link to their site down in the description section below if you want to check it out. Anyway, I just really enjoyed that. It was very straightforward. I couldn't really find something I liked that wasn't just Negan and the baseball bat for this season. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I want to be sure to give them a thumbs up and credit for that. So if you did enjoy it, go ahead and hit the link down in the description section below and check out the rest of their work. If you did enjoy this review and all the other ones, you know what you could do? You can go ahead and hit that like button right down there. And of course, you can always share it with your friends. The more, the merrier. Comments, thoughts, ideas. How did you enjoy this first half of the season? Did you enjoy how all this sort of played out? And what are you looking forward to in the back half? Throw those down in the comment section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Darren Jakes. There it is right there. And of course, if you want to check out all these reviews, not miss anything when we come back in January and February, hit that subscribe button, little picture of me right there. And of course, you can always check out our latest review. I'll throw a link right up over here. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a great holiday. I will see you all next year. I am D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.